Who jumps out of perfectly good airplanes in the name of science? Mr. C.
Okay, well, happy downhill day to you, and of course you want to see my little drawing. So at the top there, see I've got happy downhill day, and there's my hill, and going down the other side, so is not that cool. So while I see that, in fact I was just told by my son-in-law that the test for ingenuity for the first flight is postponed again because of the software. So they've got to, I don't know the specifics, but something about the software. At least it's not the hardware, so it's not the rotor blades or something else. That's hardware that's a little bit tough to fix when you're 7 months away from Mars. So anywho, okay, you've got a white sheet. If you will number on your white sheet, let's see what I'm having you number to. Number to 26. Okay, 26. Is it a review opportunity quiz? Yep, or an ROQ, a review opportunity quiz. If you do well, it will count. If you don't, it won't. It's not an option. You've all got to participate. You've all got to do your best. Okay? So you've got your white sheet. You're numbering it to 26. You're taking your mineral sheets out. Now, if somehow you don't have mineral sheets, you need to let Mr. Phillip know, because you are going to fall down and go boom if you don't have those mineral sheets to study. You've got to have them. And you've got to put down the minerals, the correct number beside the name. Now, I went through all that yesterday, and I'd done it before. I trust you've all got it okay. So hopefully at the end of our period, so, or maybe halfway through a break, and then at the end, Mr. Phillip can give you names and numbers and get you squared away if somehow your mineral sheet was taken by aliens during the night, so, or your baby brother threw up on it, or your dog ate it, you know, the really cool possibilities, so that, you know, didn't happen. So anyway, if you'll take out again your mineral sheet, I'm telling you right now, the test is essentially written. There are 25 points that come from this. 25 points from the second page at the bottom where it says 7th grade only. 25 points from all of that. And your lesson summaries. LS 1 through 4. 25 points. So study those babies. Your triple R homework tonight is to review LS 1 through 4, to go over this really well, and then to go over the mineral sheet. Now, I'm telling you right now, we had 22. I'm only going to do 20 out of the 22. They're matching, so what we do today with our review opportunity quiz will be similar to the test. I've already typed in the mineral word bank, the 20 minerals, and I'm going to give clues to each one. So study the clues. Again, what I do today will be similar to tomorrow, except the only difference is today you can use this. Tomorrow you can't. Now, tomorrow you can use your little fact sheet that Mr. Phillip has talked to you about, so you can bring that, use that, don't forget that. Okay? I want you to do well, and We've reviewed so much, I want you to remember. It's brain glue. It's not just about a test. It's about remembering this information. Now you're going to write John 1:3. It's worth 2 points. All things were made by him, and without him. Are you looking? Nothing was made that has been made. So you're writing John 1:3. You've got to know its meaning. Jesus made everything. It didn't evolve. None of it evolved. He made everything. Now, with living things, he built in their DNA so that as birds, for instance, Darwin's finches that are in the Galapagos Islands where Darwin was 100 and whatever it was in 1850-ish when Darwin was there. So what are we talking about, 150 years ago, a little more. Anyway, when he was there, he saw these little birds called finches. They had different beak shapes and slightly different colors and things, but they were all finches, and as they mated, they didn't make any new living thing. All they made were finches. But because they had a wide varying DNA code, it was still finch code, but there could be varieties of certain small characteristics that ended up being different. So that's not evolution. That's just genetic variation caused by the DNA that God built in. So anyway, and then I'm going to ask you about Colossians 1:17. In Colossians chapter 1, it talks about, just like John 1 and Hebrews 1, talk about Jesus and tell us things about him and give him great honor and glory. And in Colossians 1, it says, in him, Jesus, all things hold together. I've only told you that now a dozen times. What does Jesus do? Holds together everything. The universe, the atoms that everything is made of. So anyway, you'll write that. That's 3 points. Then 22 points for the different terms in geology from LS 1 through 4. And then also your study guide that was handed out yesterday. And then now to the rocks and minerals. So use your rocks and minerals chart. And here we go. Okay, so are you going to triple R tonight or just nah? Now there might be some of you who are really good. You've already got this dialed in. I've reviewed a lot, right? So there are a number of you that have this all dialed in. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to grab these and give you their clue, and then I've got to write them down. Okay, so here we go. All right, number one, here it is right here. It's known as fool's gold. It's loaded with iron. So use your chart, write down its name quickly, number one. So write down the name quickly. I have to do the same. Okay, number one. Fool's gold looks like gold, not gold. All right. This is number two. It's volcanic. It's igneous. It's found in the crust at the bottom of the ocean. Bottom of the ocean. B. I gave you a clue on it. What is it? That's number two. Found at the bottom of the ocean. Its name actually starts with B. A dark volcanic rock. All right. Here we go. Next. This one is a salt and peppery one. It's very hard. Mountain ranges are made of it. It's the majority rock found in continental crust. Salt and peppery, all over campus. Number 3. So, what is it? Only going to do 20. Number 4. This is number 4. Number 4 is the writing stone. You can write with it. It's the lead in pencils. Comes from a Greek word that means to write. It's number 4. Okay, number 5. Number 5, one of my favorites. I'm sorry, 4. This is 4. Beautiful crystals, white crystals. I didn't tell you about this. As crystals are forming, as the magma's cooling, if it can cool for a long time and have a lot of space, it'll build bigger crystals. That would be a great bonus point. The more space and time a crystal has, the bigger it'll get. It's got to have space and cool slowly. If it cools really quickly, it's not going to build as big a crystals. So that's number 4. Number 5. Just reaching in and grabbing. Number 5 is an igneous rock. It's very low density, and it's so low density. It's so low density that it will float in water. It's actually less dense than water. It's been bubbled up. Volcanic gases have bubbled up through it. Number 5. Okay, 6. What do you got, Mr. C, for 6? Number 6, black mica. Comes off in sheets. What is it? Number 6, black mica. Is it a B one? You betcha. Black mica. Okay. Number 7 is salty. Is it? Number 7 is salty. It's basically rock salt. Number 7, what is it? Rock salt. Number 8. Now tomorrow when you're doing the matching, you'll have more time, so you'll be able to take your time. But part of earning a nice score on this review opportunity quiz is, being able to do it pretty quick. You're supposed to have already studied and paid attention in class and all of that. Okay, what do you got next? This one right here. I don't think you're seeing the copper bits in it, but it does have copper in it. And one of the ways you remember it, it's got copper in it, and the mineral starts with the letter C. It's loaded with copper. Number 8, loaded with copper. And number 9, what do you got? Let's go with this one. Number 9. This one is, its name literally means shining stone. It's a beautiful building material stone. it has heaps of sparkly crystals. Just gorgeous. You can't see it probably on camera as well. You can see a little bit of the sparkling going on. Its name in Greek actually means shining stone or sparkling stone. So this is number 9 on our little review quiz. Number 9. And 10. Here's 10. 10 is incredibly dense. The atoms are packed so tight in this. It's loaded with lead metal. It's so heavy because it's so dense. It's got a lot of mass, right? A lot of mass, a lot of atoms, and then gravity pulls hard on it. So loaded with lead, silvery, that's number 10. Now the way I taught it to you, it's loaded with lead. Right? That's number 10. Number 11 now. My favorite. Here it is. Purple crystals. The smaller version that I have. Purple crystals. Now the crystals on this are much smaller because it didn't have as much time or room to develop. I think I might use that as a bonus point tomorrow. Why are some crystals bigger in mineral specimens? They had more time and room to grow, to cool. So that's 11. All right, 12. 12 is a mud one, sedimentary. A lot of these sedimentary rocks, as you know, were squeezed by the Great Global Flood, all the layers, and formed. And most likely the case with this one. It's a mud one. Lots of mud squeezed together. And this one formed when the mud one got heated and squeezed. It's metamorphic. So this one is 13. It's metamorphic. It used to be the mud one. Got heated and squeezed. And 14. This one, it's got the magnet hooked up to it, so you know it's loaded with iron. You can see rust marks on it up close. Maybe not with the camera, but anyway, magnets attract it. It's very dense, loaded with iron. 14. Okay, 15. This is number 15. This is a kind of coal. It used to be plant material, buried, all that plant material all around the earth, buried by the Great Flood. And this will form really quick too. You know, evolutionists will sometimes say, well, it had to take millions of years for this to form, for this coal to form. No, it didn't. There has actually been coal that's formed in a few tens of years or less, where it's trapped and buried. It's very low density. 15. $16 now. 16, lots of it in Arizona, loads of it in Arizona. I showed you a big kind of whitish yellow specimen. It's loaded. I don't know if I'll give you this clue on the test, but I will today. This is loaded with sand grains that got cemented together. Sedimentary. Great Flood probably formed most of this. Lots of it in the Grand Canyon, Sedona, around the valley. So 16, 17 now. 17, here it is. 17 is black volcanic glass. So it's igneous. It's beautiful. Volcanic glass. Very hard, very dense. Cooled very quickly. Cooled very quickly. So I better write it down. Okay, so 18 now. 18 is sedimentary. It was this is dissolved by acids, and rainwater is slightly acidic or acidy. And the Great Global Flood, a little bit of rain, huh, would have dissolved this out and formed hollow areas underground or caves. So many of you have been in a cave, and it most likely was made of this mineral, which can be dissolved out by water. So caves form out of it. That's 18. All right, 19. 19 is number 1 on the Mohs hardness scale. You can scratch it with your fingernail and get little powder bits off of it. In fact, a certain kind of powder that's sold is made out of this. So this is 19. 19. I've got to hurry and see if I can find 20. Might not be able to find it today, but see if I can. Okay. Did I actually do this one? I'm just checking to see. All right, I think I actually did this and I neglected to write it down. So, all right, let's see how you've done so far, and then we'll check the time. Better hurry, huh? So, number 1 was iron pyrite, fool's gold. So this one, iron pyrite. Now be honest as you correct. Use another color. It's going to end up being worth 10 points. So now if this was number 2, this is basalt. Basalt. Now this is graphite, the writing one. So Mr. Phillip will help sort out where it was. It might have been in the first 3. The writing mineral comes from the Greek word grapho, which means to write. So the writing one, give yourself credit if you got it, graphite. And then, so we've done iron pyrite, basalt, graphite, I think, granite. This is granite, the salt and peppery one. And then quartz. Quartz. And then I think I had pumice next. And it's in the water and it was floating. So pumice, floating in the water. And then black mica or biotite. This is biotite. And then the salty one is halite, H-A-L-I-T-E, halite. And I want to show you just a little tip that might help you remember it. You see how I wrote halite up there? Now if you cross out the H and put an S in there, what does it spell? S-A-L. And cross out the I then, S-A-L-T, halite, salty. Just saying that might help you remember, maybe not. And then the copper one is chrysocolla, copper. And then the shining stone one is marble, very beautiful, sparkly marble. And then galena is loaded with lead. Galena, loaded with lead. And then purple quartz, amethyst. Now when I ask you tomorrow, what are the 2 ways that minerals form? There's actually 3 ways. But the 2 major ways are cooling and then dissolving. Cooling and dissolving. CD, cooling. The C1, D1, dissolving. Cooling and dissolving. So amethyst, and then shale, the mud rock, and then it's heated and squeezed and becomes slate. Shale to slate, and then magnetite. I don't have to show it to you, it's here somewhere, and it's got a magnet attached to it because it's loaded with iron, magnetite. And then the coal one is this one, here it is, ex-plant material that was buried and squeezed, and it is anthracite, coal anthracite. And then sandstone, and the really hard igneous one, obsidian, and then limestone, the caves are made out of, and then number 1 on the Mohs hardness scale, talc, T-A-L-C, talc. Now tomorrow I'm going to have you do SIM, sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic, and give me examples. Examples of sedimentary, we just did a number of them. Limestone. Another sedimentary one is shale, right? Sedimentary. And then igneous, obsidian, granite, quartz, amethyst. And then a metamorphic pair, shale to slate. Shale to slate. Shale, which turns into slate. So there's shale, and it's heated and squeezed and turned into slate. That's probably the metamorphic pair that most of you will use. Shale to slate. Individual, so if you'll do this now, number right over 10, each one was half a point. Each one was half. So if you missed 2, it's 9 out of 10. Name, date, period on it, if you want a grade on it to go in RenWeb. Name, date, period, upper right hand corner. Again, your score over 10. And if you'll pass that in. And then tomorrow I'm going to ask you about atomic packing, that's density. And any characteristic of a mineral is a property. So I feel good about this little review. So triple R tonight and get ready for it. And you'll do well tomorrow. So, and I will see you back on Thursday for a brief introduction to the test, or I might just let Mr. Phillip introduce it and get you going on it. We shall see. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Phillip. He'll answer any questions you have, get you straightened out on this or that. So see you on Thursday. Miss getting to be up front with you, and love you all. Blessings on you. Praying for you. Bye-bye.